Let's see what that does. Okay, start a highlight. I can't start a highlight. Okay. Let's see what that does. Start a poll. I'm live. Okay. Start a poll. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you like what you see, leave a comment. If you don't like what you see, leave a comment. Heading into the Southmont Borough Council meeting right now. Today I have some questions about some things. Let's see. We have our agenda here. Here's our agenda. I'm sorry I can't go horizontal. My phone won't let me do it. This phone doesn't let me do it. So, don't know why, but this phone does not let me go. It's not letting me go horizontal. So, you know, a lot of spinning. You know, a lot of me adjusting the camera today. Sorry about that. So.
That never gave any of us easements to go on property. So we still have property.
That's my point, if you know where they are. You know, but isolate, you know, find out where they're. I mean, you can't have two hundred guys going on walking. Yeah, and the people are big. Well, that's the more, yeah.
In the middle of everything.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. Water in their drinks. So we still have residential report 15 that never gave us permission to go on the property. So those 15 still don't even have the new lines. Yes, exactly. And they have to sell tax in order to sell, but none of them have sold. Might be a reason why they didn't.
I mean, your neighbor behind you, they'll never sell it, man. That's right. That's simple math. Yeah. Right. 10 years is $3,600. Yeah. 20 years, it's actually about 4 years, 14. Right. No, I was thinking about that. That's something. But I remember you said after the rain, it's a period of time, I don't know how long, so it really, you know,
Southmont Borough Council meeting. That's what's going on here. Southmont, Johnstown, Pennsylvania. Just the regular Borough Council meeting. Thank you for watching. Hello, I just told you. Hi. Hi, can you hear me? Hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear everybody. What's on today's agenda? Not much is on today's agenda. Not much. Here it is.
Good afternoon. It's been a busy day. Never ends.
Yeah. If you just get the emails, the address and the phone number.
Still constantly on.
Yeah. I'll try to report it again.
Okay, that is today's agenda. Nothing of major importance.
The alley and 24/7, 365. I'd like to have it in my pocket, but we've wasted on that life. It's been a few months.
Yeah, I'll let them know again.
I thought that was the gavel. You jumping the gun a little, Todd.
Drop the eye. Two shirts inside.
Yes, they do love to act like you're not there. That is true. They make the decisions that they don't care what our input is from the community. They just make the decisions that they want to make. You're right.
Hello.
Counting down to your This needs 24. So 11 more. She said she's going at 35, that's that.
Meeting to order. Rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America.
Roll call.
Keith Hager,
Here.
Doug Berry,
Present.
Richard Berger,
Here.
Herb Ewald,
Here.
Gene Capchella, not here, Matt McVicker, not here, Sherry Spiker, oh, and Bob Morgan.
Here.
All right, public comment. It's a 5-minute time limit. Please clearly state your name and where you reside.
Anybody else want to speak first?
Sure, I can go first.
Go ahead.
I'm Lisa Corey Hall, and this is my husband Mark Hall. We live at 141 Arlington Street, and we were at a previous meeting and talked about the woods right behind our house, the trees there was a lot of dead trees that had fallen and what was gonna happen there. And since then, there's been changes where the trees were topped off and then some of them removed, some of them are still there. And a new project has taken place, which we've talked to Sam about, with the, they're gonna make a place to watch movies, at the garage there. And that's partially done, and we were wondering what the time frame on that one is. It's right now, it's a big dirt hill with no, there was plans to put shrubbery around it to make it look prettier, to put a gazebo in there. And we were wondering what the time frame is for that. And the second thing we're wondering about, there's an alley that leads to, behind our house and is part of, right in front of that woodsy area that we've asked for 4 years now if it could be repaved, and it's not been able to be repaved. That's not happened yet. And we were wondering what it would take to get that done. In the process of the work that's been done back there, it's gotten even more chewed up. We've had to ask not to even have it plowed in the winter because the plow picks up even more because it's so unstable. We recognize we are the only family back there that uses that, although there are other ones that could. Is that what's holding it up, or what would it take to get the alley paved? Right now we do use it. Both of our vehicles are back there. We go literally 2 miles an hour down the alley so that we don't disrupt more of what's there. And Mark goes up frequently and clears paths for us to get there. So 2 questions, same area. The one is the woods and what's happening with that project, and the alley, and what would it take to get that paved?
Amanda, can you speak to the project?
So the project was just kind of a suggestion for the future. Right now, all we're doing is trying to clear the dead trees and make it safe and try to solve the runoff. The pavilion or whatever is a potential in the future. It's not set in stone. It's just something we're looking at for the future. It's a possibility of something to do back there.
The big mound of dirt then, the woods have probably gotten worse since we came, and I feel like maybe I shouldn't have showed up at all. They chopped off all the trees, they look like totem poles. Some of them have been carried away, some of them are still there. The woods did not get restored to woods, which is what the hope was, that it was a pleasant woodsy area. Now it's a big mound of dirt with a potential for something nice for the community, but it's actually gone in the opposite direction of what we wanted.
Yeah, we do have a quarterly street committee review coming up. We're going to talk about our next step there.
Amanda, can I ask you something?
Yeah, real quick, we got about 1 minute left on your public comment.
What is going on with the road?
With your alley?
Just the truth. That's all I want to hear is the truth.
We didn't have it in this year's budget for paving, but
What year are you going to have it in the budget?
I don't have that on me right now, my 5-year plans, but
I am the only guy in Southmont that has to ride on a road. You know what I mean? I just don't understand it. And every time I ask you this question, everybody looks at me and they're like, it's always, we don't have it in the budget. I didn't even ask you for just put some gravel down. So I don't have to drive through all the holes and the dirt and the mud. Your runoff thing is not working. It
I'm sorry, I don't
runs
mean to
you-
cut you off, but your 5 minutes is up. I'm sorry. I forgot to start the timer.
Point of order, they both have 5 minutes. So if they want to speak for 10, they both have 5 combined, so let them speak.
5 minutes is what the determination is.
Per person. Point of order by the sunshine laws, every person is entitled to 5 minutes per person to speak. So if you guys have to speak, I have a time, how much time you have to speak. You are entitled to more time to speak.
Thank you.
I appreciate that, but we really spoke, we're just looking for an answer. It's
We
what we
never
need coming
get
back
an
to us.
answer.
Amanda, what alley are we talking about?
Great valley.
Right behind, by the barns.
If none of us,
Borough.
if you guys have not been up there, you really should walk by.
Yes, please.
You should
I'd
walk
like to
by
see you
and see
people
it.
who live up there.
I mean,
I'll look at it on my video if you like.
it's terrible, and it's part of the borough, and it should be pretty, and it's not.
Why are we the only family that lives on a street like this? Why? Why do we have to look at that every day? Why do I have to drive on that every day? Why? I wanna know the answer. Are you not gonna do it? Is that the answer? Because that's what I'm feeling I'm getting. We just are not gonna get it done. I just wish somebody would tell me the truth. It's always it's always gonna be done, or it could be done. It's just not fair. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to anybody that lives there.
And if the plan really is to not improve the woods,
I don't,
we'd like to hear that as well.
Yeah.
Just so we know, I mean.
so I can stop wasting your time and wasting mine. I go out with the wheelbarrow every so often,
We're talking about the
and
ones
I
that
take,
road.
I'm talking about the road, and I take my wheelbarrow and I get the stuff that these guys clean up off the road. Okay, it's dumped down over the hill. Sometimes I've got to clean it off the road, and I shovel in the wheelbarrow off the hill. Then I take it down and I fill up the holes again, all the holes. Or I fill up where all your overrun of water is running, because they covered up that ditch with rocks. And it all runs out onto the road. When you get any kind of rain, you got a hard rain. That's what I do. Plus I run my mower up and I mow all the edge and I mow down there, and I mean it's just very frustrating that I have to live on an alley like that, and everybody else in this beautiful community to go back an alley. I walk there every night. I even walked down past my house one night to the one house that lives off Arlington, and it's paved. It's paved to go down into his house. That's paved. And like I said, I'd be willing to say, just put some gravel back there. Get a couple triaxles of gravel and give me a gravel road.
So what I'll say is that the street committee has a meeting coming up, and it'll for sure be on the agenda for them to take a look at that and come up with a solution and report back on what that is going to be.
Would they come up and look at it, sir?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, we talked to Sam a lot, so he's aware, we've had many conversations with him. We don't know if perhaps if the council could get involved, it might help, because he can only do what he can do. So should we be at that meeting that you're talking about, or that's a closed meeting, or, is that?
I mean, you can come, but it's up to you. And Amanda, you can let me know when that is.
Can we have a meeting at the place, at the site, so you can see it?
Doug, would you come up and look at it, please? Thank you.
When would that meeting be, so we know when to look for it?
I'm hoping sometime this month, if not, then very early, August.
Can you let us know?
Yeah, so I was just gonna say, if you wanna write your phone number down for me before you leave,
Sure.
more than happy to.
Thank you.
I'd like to speak for a few minutes about something. So I have some questions that I'd like to raise concerning building permits. So it's become aware to me that the borough isn't consistent about the zoning or about the building permitting process. And thanks for paying attention to this, Anthony. You're the mayor, so I think you should take particular consideration of this. Some people, okay, so there's a, and I'm not sure which fence it is, but it's the fence, I believe, on the corner of Thoburn and Liburn. It's been a Thoburn and Lila that's been a real big bone of contention with the zoning. Is that the one I'm speaking? Is that the one that, okay. So they did work that wasn't approved by a building permit, and I guess what, they started without a building permit. They obviously didn't get a permit to start, okay? And as you know, as anybody knows in this borough, that if you build a permanent structure in the borough, okay, you need a building permit for that. At least that's my question, is what is considered a permanent structure? Because I would think anything with a foundation that would be dug and masonry work would be done, there would be you need a building permit for that. Now I want to know, because everybody sitting here that's a resident needs to get a building permit. Are you guys on the council exempt from building permits? That's a yes or no question. You guys are not exempt? Okay, so at 117 Delia Street, there's a Southmont Borough Council member who did some permanent work. He had some masonry work done, and he had some flags put up, okay? And I did write to no request through Amanda, and I asked her specifically if he had applied for a building permit, and he did not. okay? So Chief, that's a crime, okay? So I'm reporting a crime right now, okay? I would like something done about that, okay? Because if we're gonna go after people about their fences and gonna make them go through all the bullshit that you make them go through over moving a fence and all that, how come a Southmont Borough Council member gets a pass on getting a permit and everything and you know, masonry work and we also, actually, the borough also actually paid for that last month when you guys voted to give him $300 to have work done. I don't understand why some people, and I think it's just you people that sit up there, can have work done without a building permit and nothing's done. And like I said, now I realize we have problems with the people that are handling zoning right now, but it's a slap in the face when I go and I get a building permit for any work that I've had done, and Herb goes and back in the day when Fred Pullen was the zoning officer, Herb used to specifically drive by my house and ask every month at the Southmont Borough Council meetings. This is going back to 95, 96, okay? What's going on with Klanchar's building permit? Why isn't there, I haven't noticed any work done. He needs to get another building permit. So there was like 3 or 4 building permits that my father had to keep getting, okay? Specifically because Herb used to come up and ask, okay? And you notice he's gonna ask about, last month he asked about these people all these problems with building permits and zoning and all this, okay? But here's a man who goes and has work done, masonry work done, without a building permit, and it needs to be done. He needs to have a permit, and if there's no permit, okay, because if I had that done, if I had masonry work done like that, I would need a building permit. And I have had masonry work done like that, and I needed a building permit, and I got it. There was no building permit, and the right, I don't have it with me, but Amanda could easily produce it, that I did do a right to know request. She returned it with no results. I did that building permit specifically for a very specific period of time, which was from January of this year until June, which was when the project was going on, and there was no building permit issued. There was no application for a building permit even to say anything. I don't appreciate the mockery, okay? You just sit there and listen. If you don't like it, fucking resign. Okay, it is my right to criticize you as the government.
It's not your right to accuse me of something I didn't do.
Yes, it is. You did not get a building permit, and I have the right to know request to prove it. You didn't get a fucking permit before you started the work. Bullshit. I'm not accusing you of anything that you didn't do. Yeah, I didn't accuse you of anything you didn't do. You did it. You didn't get a fucking permit, and Amanda proved it to me. Now, my 5 minutes is not up. Thank you very much. I have a timer here, okay? I'm asking everybody on the Southmont Borough Southmont Borough to ask him to resign, okay? He's a hypocrite, and he keeps constantly throwing these laws in our face. Because you know he's going to say about zoning, about people in there, okay? This is what you people want, okay? This is what you have created. This is what he has created, okay? As somebody that comes down here because I get scrutinized constantly, you're going to keep getting it, okay?
You want 5 minutes to be back?
No.
You want to do his homework.
I did do my homework. You didn't get a permit.
All right,
Didn't need one.
all right. Correspondence?
I didn't need one, asshole. That's what you said? Thank you for saying that.
Correspondence, we have an email from John Klanch, 6/27/24. We also have a letter from Paula Borough, dated June 30th of 2024. I need a motion to approve the June 17th, 2024 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the June 18th, 2024 Community Planning and Improvements Committee
So
meeting
moved.
minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I need a motion to approve the July 9th, 2024 Personnel Committee meeting minutes.
So moved. I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. West Hills Regional, please.
The police department handled 467 calls for service in the month of June. 93 of those were in Southmont. 23 traffic citations were issued along with 25 warnings. Nothing else further to add to that.
Any questions for the
month of June, we had 12 calls, 6 of them were in the borough. We had 1 structure fire that was at McCall's place. And right now, it's looking at, there's $40,000 to $50,000 worth of damage from a light fixture fire. And then, Jim Daly also accepted deputy chief. And we fixed the field down at the Jubilee, and just thank you guys for letting us use your equipment. It worked out perfect for us.
And then the deer were there that night, you didn't roll your head.
Yeah, I did see, yeah.
They were out there like a herd.
Right.
That was fun. Yeah, one question.
Was it a profitable venture?
What's that?
Usually.
We didn't get final numbers, but it looks like it was a pretty good year for us.
On the McCullough
Yeah.
house call, did you have enough room with your fire trucks to get up there? Because I know people park on both sides of that.
Yeah,
road.
we did have enough room, because we had a ladder truck and a couple engines up there, and we also had, down by the hydrant, we had a couple fire engines that were sitting there.
But you had enough.
We had enough room, yeah, and if not,
I'm afraid if there's 2 cars parked
Yeah.
on each side of the road, you guys
The
are not.
only thing about is if the ladder truck has to put the ladder out, the outriggers are the only problems, but right now we have enough room, even if both cars are parked, so, yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, engineers report.
Since last month, I just want to update, the flow meters are still deployed. We have one at Helen and one at the bottom of Southmont Boulevard. Obviously, it hasn't rained much. So we're not getting
You got some pretty low readings.
Yeah, getting low readings.
How much to do that to the sewer?
Yeah, right. We did send the camera truck out, how it gives Sam a hand at the storm, some issue at Arlington Street up there. So we were able to pinpoint where that storm line was severed. I think he got some quotes to get that repaired. The only other item I have to mention is actually, I heard Sherry and Amanda talking before the meeting, where we need to schedule an annual MS4 stormwater meeting for the end of the year. So it's just something to keep in the back of your mind when these meetings.
Are you handling the MS4 for us now, or someone?
No, still the same guys, Brian and Chris.
Does the dry weather we've been having, does that extend our deadline when we have to meet figures? Since we can't get any readings.
Well, that's a reasonable question, and the short answer to that is I don't know. I know last month that was March of 2023, that we sent our flow reduction plan to DEP, along with every other community in the greater Johnstown area. So we all did that last March. And to the best of my knowledge, DEP has not commented or responded to any one of those plans. So the dog is sleeping, it's resting.
So I read your semi-annual report, and it looks like we have 15 properties that do not grant us the easements, so they have never been addressed, plus 7 more that failed. So do we have a plan on what we're gonna do with the properties that?
So Bob and I were talking about this before the meeting. So I know when we sent the easement agreements out for all the project service lines, Attorney Carbonera had some language in there that if you choose not to do this, here's how this is going to work. And honestly, I don't recall what, that was
Well, I think
2018.
they have to be tested on transfer.
Agreed.
Pressure tested on transfer.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Zoning officer report. It's in your packet.
So it looks like, so Eric, you're the one, do you go up to, or is it, it's gonna be Laurel that
Rural
goes up to
inspection be the ones who
DCO?
would prosecute this case.
And so will anybody from Southmont be there, or just Laurel?
Just Laurel, they would provide the testimony for the magistrate to rule on those violations.
And then we'll hear back from Laurel? Is that how that's done?
Laurel should provide us an update in their monthly reports as to the enforcement actions. that were filed with the magistrate as a result. Now, if that determination by the magistrate is found, they are found guilty of that violation, and then there's a subsequent appeal of that, then typically that's when the solicitor will be involved in the appeal. That will go to the court of common.
And one more question, if the people that were told they lost their variance hearing for the fence, so what happens if they don't, like, what's the time period?
They have 30 days to file an appeal.
Which is just about now.
So if they file an appeal, then enforcement is deferred until the court of common rules on their.
So we're just waiting to hear that.
I still see, some of these are maybe, from 23, and they're still, their status is still no contact from property owner. How long are we gonna put up with that? I mean, there's several on here. 1/11/16, 1/5/11. Unclaimed letter. You know, this is going out, this is out of hand. There's no excuse for this.
I can speak with Borough inspection, and I probably have some workarounds on for those type of issues, so I can talk with them about the ones that are, these appear to be at least a year old, that there's no contact or letter coming back from them. So I can talk with Borough management, Borough inspection, how to deal with those type of issues. We go together before the magistrate, so there could be some enforcement action.
Are we gonna proceed with that course of action? Take it to the magistrate?
My understanding, they've already filed citations with the magistrate, so those have occurred. These are ones that apparently the problem has been the ability to provide proper service on these. They seem to be LLC, so identifying the person they can serve. That seems to be a problem.
Well, I don't like this idea of month after month after month, then it turns into years, and then I guess they think you're gonna forget about it. I don't know, but,
Well, but I think what Eric is trying to say, Herb, is that a lot of these are, the property isn't owned by an individual, they're owned by a company. And you can't file charges on a company.
you can't.
You have to serve somebody.
Well, if a company owns it, they're the same as the property owner, aren't they? Or they?
Well, they're the property owner, but you have to serve, if it's an LLC, you have to find who's the member or members of that LLC. Or if it's a corporation, who the sheriff is. You gotta serve somebody with that citation or with the notice that they're in violation. So that appears to be the issue with some of these older ones. Now, I do know that they have filed some and they're noted on the report, but you gotta be able to find somebody physically to serve them with that notice of the citation.
And do you know if they're doing that? Are they investigating? Are they trying to?
Well, it appears that they've attempted on some occasions. There appear to be some that just they've not been able to locate individuals. So I'll talk to rural inspection, and I have a couple ways to try to figure out who the actual owners are.
I don't think that'd be unreasonable. Something happened in 23. You would
There's
think
10 of them on here.
by now, they have their ducks in a row and have either sent out notices to them or sent out to a magistrate. And
Well, they can't send it to the you can't send it to the magistrate until you actually identify who the person is, and then you have that two identifiers before you can actually serve the citation. So you have to find a person with that person, then you have to find the identifier, then you can file the citation. So you can't just file a citation without that information. So that's where they need to get that information. Who's that individual? Once you can figure out who the individual is, then we can get the identifiers, and they would accept it for filing.
every time I look at that, it reminds me of the 3 parcels on Southmont Boulevard. They were a mess last year, and they're a mess this year. One of them got cut. And I'm not in favor of cutting anybody's grass and putting a lien on their property, because you can't find the owner, you're never gonna get the money. Never gonna get the money.
Well, it's a lien against the properties of the property is ever sold. The municipality would have a lien on that that. So if it's sold to clear the title, everything would have to be satisfied.
Amanda,
Now, if it's not sold, it's,
Yeah.
it just sits.
are these people paying for sewer bills? Most of them, some of them?
Most of them, if they are,
Most of
we're
them are,
finding.
so they're actually people we're sending things to, they're getting them and paying bills to, they're just maintaining their properties.
And when Mike had the hearing, were any of these people summoned to the hearing?
I don't think the hearings are on this issue.
No, that wasn't on this.
Okay.
You're next on the agenda, so.
I believe most of my topics are listed on the agenda in different headings, so I will just refer to those.
Street commissioners report, same.
You guys all have my report. I will say the Highlands heat sensor was underneath the dash, so a fun place to find it. That's back up and running perfectly fine, no issues with it. I asked Kanyu for a bid for a 1013, 1015 Monocker Boulevard, and he failed to even reach back out for giving us one. And then RDM was supposed to come up for Arlington, and they failed to come up when they said they would. Reach back out to me a new time or a different day. So I only unfortunately got one bid for each one. We can make decisions on what to get some of that squared away.
There's one here without an address on it, Sam, the one for 6500 from Zimmerman. What's that one for?
That is for 511 Edwards. But it's
That's not related
That's
to your
something
own.
else.
not at all.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so the first thing up is a decision on the estimate for Arlington Street stormwater line and inlet repair. Sam, please speak to what exactly is needing to be completed with that project.
Whenever the work was done for the initial sewer line, they had ruptured our storm line there and then made a very shoddy replacement. We didn't know that when we had Borough come jet it for us. Their jet hose shattered at the top of the pipe. Their hose got stuck. We started to have drainage coming down through. Thought everything was on its work in progress. We had Chris coming out to a camera for us, and we noticed a sinkhole starting right where the hose was stuck. Upon opening it up, we found that the pipe was completely broken across the top, and the water was just draining into the stone. Chris came out, got his camera 21 feet in, and hit some kind of wall. We marked where it was. This hole is well past our point of capabilities. It's right in between a gas line and a water line, and with just three of us, not really comfortable trying to dig through and clear out the rest of the line the whole way to Olive Street. I don't know how far it's broken, and Snyder's will have the ability to determine and do the job far better than we can. They will be blacktopping the whole way back up to be stone and reopening that inlet.
Aaron, did you get the information on the funds to pay for that?
I did, and based on my discussion, Amanda, reviewing the Penn-Vest loan, this wouldn't be funds used from the Penn-Vest loan, this would be for the sewer maintenance, which is a separate fund, so it would be permissible to use these
total line?
We have up to 21 feet that we know exactly where it's at, and from that 21 feet, it's another 300 until we hit all of it.
I think it'd be smart if we camera that part from the break. Put the camera down and check it out. If it needs replaced, do it at the same time, but if it doesn't need replaced, why spend the money?
Until we do the secondary hole in between the gas and water line, we can't get the camera any further.
So what you're saying is this work needs to progress before we can progress.
Yes. Right. And once they're here and they've started, if they establish there's another problem further down, they'll give us another new number estimate to actually complete the projects properly.
I don't like that go,
Well,
pay as you go deal. It never ends.
so this will fall under, it's payable, as the solicitor said. Any motion, go ahead.
Yep.
I make a motion, we go ahead and approve this project for $5,550.
And who's the company?
It's not an excavating.
So I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Motion carries. The next one is the estimate for 1015 Minocqua Boulevard sewer line connection repair. Sam, can you speak to what this is for?
The cleanouts main T is offset, and the initial pipe for the downspout of the T is busted up at its connection. It keeps backing up with toilet paper and other debris that would go through the sewer, and causes them to have it rotor-rooted and so on and so forth. On camera inspection, we noticed the damage and the not sitting just perfect. So, got Easton Excavating to come up and give me a bid. They're going to dig down, replace everything that needs replaced, cut out everything, and then black off the top after they refill the hole 2B.
Was that caused by a faulty installation? Was it the lateral, where the lateral hooks into the main?
It's where the
new pipe connects to the building.
Pardon?
where the lateral hooks to the building.
At the building.
At the building.
That's purely a
Yeah,
faulty.
When they cut the pipe on the curve, it's not perfectly square, slightly angled, and we use a firm rubber connector there from clay to plastic. So there's a burr that the paper's catching on, and it must be, it's not
Misaligned.
not much water usage there, it's just restroom, it's a commercial establishment.
Todd, you being the engineer, would you say that was a faulty installation?
You could go either way. I mean, they don't make a chop saw that they carry around to cut those things square. They use that cutoff wheel. So if you get it angled a little bit, I can certainly understand how that scenario arose. The fact that it's not a residential place, that laundry and bathtubs and showers, that flushes that stuff out. It's not an issue. Does that make sense?
So this is one, we did take the lateral right to.
This is right back at the connection point, yeah.
Which building is this?
You're back in the alley, it's to the left of the
This is
soap shop.
the eye.
No, this is an eye care.
No, this is up on the knocker.
Oh, I thought.
Okay, this isn't the new commercial section.
So, is the borough expected to repair that at our cost?
Technically, the easements agreements that we gave Penn say we own them for the life of the loan.
If it can be corrected, then why wasn't it done that way the first time? That's my question.
Well, they have rotor-rooted this probably half a dozen times, you know.
This is similar to the previous one then.
Been that way for a long time.
Yeah.
Should this be covered Eric,
Well, is the issue that it was when the installation, when we did the installation, this is something the property owner had done that causes problem. It's been something that.
We made the connection.
Yeah, there's a sewer.
Yeah.
How much was the bid for that?
3482.
7482?
3482.
3482.
Do I have a motion?
Well, I would say that when they make that change, I would like to have the inspector check it out to make sure it's right. Because we can't just keep paying out money on faulty bills caused by the contract. I mean, we don't have that much tax money, or tax, I don't know what my taxes go up.
Is this, again, for maintenance money? Okay.
It should be fully in maintenance of that sewer.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we proceed and make the repairs for $3,482 for Easton Excavating.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Just as a comment, for both of these agreements, we should have a written agreement between the borough and these two entities. We approved it, but we should have a written agreement that's, well, as outlines what work needs to be done and the expectations if there's any bonding that's required. Well, probably not, but I just want to make sure there's a written agreement.
Will you work with Amanda on this?
Yes.
Thank you. Amanda, your report.
Unless you have any questions, I don't have anything new.
Oh, man, I want to ask you about the one that we made a motion last meeting to proceed with the shut off. How did that go, or is that done, or not done?
So we actually found the pressure test in the meantime, so they're good to go. They had the repairs done. The pressure test was listed under a different address, so they had all the necessary work done, passed the pressure test, and it's good.
You didn't have to shut the water off?
No.
On the property that's putting out the bird food and attracting the rats, do we have communication with them? I mean, do we send them a letter and say, please stop?
Yeah, I have in the past let them know before we got reports of rats or anything, I had reports of just bird droppings on a lot of vehicles, so we let them know at that time, you know, that we were getting complaints at the borough office, and if they could be a friendly neighbor and just not put so much bird food out, but there's really nothing I can do. It's not violating anything. You can feed birds. I can send them another one and let them know that it's now attracting rats, but I say if the neighbors are seeing them, they're seeing them.
I would say, I mean, if we just like ask them nicely to stop, maybe we're having to go through a big thing.
Mayor's report.
The only thing I had was Mr. Sean Kelly was here at the November meeting. He was looking to have a no parking sign moved down a couple feet to make it easier for him to park his car. He had stopped me again about 2 weeks ago on the status of what, by his request. And I mentioned I think that we weren't able to accommodate that due to like snow removal and everything. I looked through our records and I think he sent a letter out, and I did find that when I emailed Amanda. Amanda sent a copy of that letter out to him. He said, he thanked me, and he said, if he has any questions or something, we'll come to a future meeting to
Committees, I don't have anything for administrative or borough services, community planning and improvements. Richard?
The committee did meet on June 18th. We had some input on some of the particular issues that Southmont Borough may want to look at during their comprehensive plan. Again, The goal is to submit an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development in the latter part of September to create the application and the application budget. What the county planning commission has done is sent out a request for proposals. They've had 6 planning firms, according to Shannon Murphy from the County Planning Commission, that expressed interest in applying or seeking, that job, that planning job. What we don't know at this time is how many municipalities will be willing to, participate, with representatives and cost sharing, in the grant. But we will, by the time it's submitted, in I think later part of September. They've asked us to designate someone to serve on a selection committee who would help finalize the firm who, if we are funded, would actually do the multi-municipal plan. They'll be meeting in August to select a planning firm who will then, give us their fee to do the whole thing, which will be the basis for the application. It's early next year, I think, when we're notified whether the application has been funded and the project will start. So it's kind of, things are still up in the air. At the time they submit the application, they'll be looking for a formal commitment. Again, we don't know the math yet, we don't know what the cost is or how many municipal partners we have, but just heads up, there will be a commitment that we'll have to, if we commit to doing this, this will have to be in the budget. And I think that's about it. Yeah. Questions?
When's your next meeting?
We don't have a meeting scheduled at this point. I'm trying to think. There will be, if this is funded, there'll be a small, from each, the county planning commission will have staff, and then each municipality that's participating will have probably 2 representatives. And I'm not sure how, and Doug, maybe you have some thoughts on this, how we'll use the Southmont Borough Committee, although that will continue to meet in some capacity.
But we will be informed of the meeting when it comes up.
Yeah, certainly.
Amanda, do you want to give any updates on the actual transportation plan?
So we kind of narrowed down our key points of what to put into this plan, and now Mark and Barb from the engineers firm, they're going to put together all that and come back with a draft plan for the council to look at, and the steering committee. I believe our next meeting is July 30th. It'd be at 6 p.m. here at the Borough Building.
Emergency management?
Nothing, so
What is that, Amanda, meeting for what?
The active transportation plan.
Finance, Sherry?
We are having a budget meeting to start pulling together the budget for 2025, August the 6th at 4 p.m. And so if any of the committee chairs have anything exceptional that they need to tell us about, get that information to myself or Amanda before then. Because Amanda, you're going to have a kind of a workup.
Yeah, if we could have those by the 1st, that would be great.
So we would need that. That's it.
Greater Johnstown Water Authority? Dean?
Nothing new.
MS4 Stormwater, Sherry?
I'd like to, Amanda, do we need to have a meeting on that?
Just the annual
September.
public meeting, it can be at our regular
Do we
meeting.
need to have like a committee meeting before then?
Not really.
Nothing new.
No, we just need to update that public, education pamphlet, but
Okay. So we'll have that, what we always do is we incorporate that MS4 public meeting into one of our council meetings before the end of the year. That's all.
We had a personnel committee meeting last week, and we went through and worked on updating the job descriptions, and those will get approved at a follow-up council meeting. It's going to take a little bit of time to make all the updates. And then we are also going to institute, or we would like to institute, a quarterly employee performance review process. So this means that employees would receive reviews every quarter to help them understand their progress towards goals, and help them understand, where they're meeting expectations, where things need to improve, where they're doing great. So I would like action from council today to approve the quarterly review performance.
No, is everybody involved in that, Doug? I mean, all the council people? In the reviews?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody that wants to participate can participate.
Yeah, I make a motion that we institute a quarterly performance review.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Call for the question.
All right. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Police. Bob.
No report, Chief gave it.
Property maintenance and streets, Matt is here today. You said that there's going to be a committee meeting.
yeah, we're trying to coordinate, one of the Tuesdays in July to have our next committee meeting, and if not, like I said, early August.
Okay. Shade tree, Richard.
Just to note that we're out of money more or less. There were 2 trees on this property on Lila, again, Norway maples, big, rotten. I had to take them both out. We had a bid from the tree expert, Jim Snag, for $3,200. Our balance in our budget, I think, was $3,400, so we're pretty much exhausted the funds available for tree maintenance. Again, this is going to be, continuing issue. I note also, Amanda in our report projected some of her tasks in the future. One of those things she wants to get done next year is a tree inventory, which is something I think would be really, in Borough's best interest, because again, these trees have reached the end of their life for the most part, and they're trouble trees to begin with.
Yeah, I just have 2 notes on that. I wanted to note that the trees up on Lila Street, these were trees that we had agreed, when the property transferred, it's been about 5 years, before the ordinance changed. We agreed to take those out. That's why we're doing that now.
Yeah.
And then for the tree inventory, Barb Haug up at Upstreet Architects, she's a professional. She's offered her services for free, if we'd like.
And she will help us to submit a grant application next spring. And, again, she's not an arborist, but she's a, landscape planner, so I'd be part of an improved, we can really have a tree program once we do this study.
I think, been doing a pretty decent job on the trees, and, I just was wondering, are we required to get more than 1 bid for any tree work we do?
Well, it depends on how much the cost. If it's below $12,600, you don't get it.
4,600.
It's really hard to treat.
Because there's other reputable people who may be able to do it cheaper. That's why I'm trying to save the taxpayers money. If we can get it cheaper, by all means, that's what we should do. couple bids?
We were working with the tree expert, and Bob supported that, too, because the borough had had him, Jim Smay, working on his trees, regularly in the past. And often when you need a tree cutter, it's on an emergency basis.
I still think it'd be a good idea to get a couple bids, it doesn't hurt. It's just like when you pay the street, you get bids, you go with the lowest bid.
Okay, thanks, Herb. New business and old business. Decision on estimate from Tyler Zimmerman Contracting for 511 Edward Street runoff repairs. Eric, you were going to look into this.
Thank you, I did. I talked to Todd about this. This appears to be a problem not created by the borough. Apparently the property is downhill, the water runs off this property. They've taken some actions to divert the water with French drains. And I think this issue is then to further deal with that water that's been diverted, but it's a private matter. It's nothing the borough has any involvement in. I don't see any basis for the borough to pay for this cost, especially it's on private property.
Well, I know, I was born and raised up there, and I played on that lot as a kid, and it was nothing more than full of tree toads, frogs, you name it was in there. That house should have never been built. They should have never built that house in that area, because there's no drainage. And that's why they're getting what they're getting.
All right, so can I have a motion one way or another on that?
Do we need to take action if we're not?
It's on private property.
It's on the agenda to say decision on estimate, so I feel like we should.
I make a motion to table. Can we do that?
We tabled it last time.
Oh.
It must be on the agenda.
I make a motion, since it's on private property, that it would be the property owner.
I think they should be
I
sent a
don't know
letter
how
of
you want
notification.
that worded, but I make a motion that.
I'll second that.
Since it's not on, since it's not on
I'll
borough
second.
property, it's on private property, that we do not do work on that.
Okay, so motion and second, further discussion. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Discussion of Westmont Hilltop School District regarding payment of utilities at soccer field. I'll start. Tom Mitchell has been reaching out to me because the water authority reached out to him to pay the water bill at the soccer field, and he indicated that he was surprised that the school is being asked to pay the utilities for the field, and indicated that it was not their intent in the lease agreement that they would take those over.
Is it just the one fountain down at the building?
Yeah.
And the closed?
Yeah, the restroom.
Is it being
facilities.
used?
The restroom facilities, because the fire department
Yeah.
covers the utilities at the concession stand.
School district that's using those utilities.
So, I gave it to Eric.
And there's a lease agreement entered into between the school district and the borough. It's a 5-year term, is effective March 10th of 2023. That resolved the litigation. This before I was involved with just for mayor involvement. So that resolved that litigation. It says that the borough is to pay a yearly rent of $1 per year. It is silent on utilities. Utilities is not found in that agreement. Maintenance and repairs, though, are the responsibility of the school district. For example, they pay the upkeep, cutting the grass, mowing, plowing if necessary, or periodic maintenance on the property. To the extent that the borough uses it, it's responsible for maintaining those portions that it uses. But there's nothing in there specifically as to who pays the utilities.
Is the utilities inside the building or outside the building?
I think the fountain's outside.
they're the only ones that have the key to that building.
Yeah, and he indicated that the plumbing was broken in the building and all kinds
We
of
don't
stuff.
have a key to the building.
And my thought was that, you know, we have the utilities disconnected because we're not using it. And if the school district wants the utilities turned on at some point in the future, they can go through the process of doing that.
How much was the bill?
I'd say total between water and electricity, it was $50 a month.
For how many months? What's the?
Oh, each month.
So
They're getting a new, it transferred from us to them. We had everything shut off, told them we're no longer responsible, so they put it on the school district and they just started getting the bill, so I
So
imagine.
they want us to pay that?
I'm assuming that's what they're
Is that what they're requesting it?
Well, I think they want some clarification on who's paying what. They feel like they didn't get any notification from us that this was gonna happen, that they heard from the water.
We're not using utilities, it shut them down.
If we're gonna pay anything, we need to split it with them.
No.
They should come up, they set up front and pay
Public's
too.
not using
No.
it, it's the school, that only gets unlocked when the school district has, I overlooked that bill. It's only unlocked when the school district has practices at that bill. It's not unlocked for the firemen, it's not unlocked for the public. It's only unlocked for their sports programs.
Amanda, we don't have a key then. I agree with you.
So we should not have the utilities in our name.
It's either theirs
Or
or
pay-
ours, and
or
it's
pay.
not ours, so it must be theirs.
We have no utilities on our
The utilities have been transferred though to the school district's names at this point, or they still in the boroughs?
No, they should be in there.
Do we need a motion?
Canceled, put a stop on all of them, so.
I would recommend, I've sent a correspondence to the solicitor, the school district outlining our position that we're not, the borough is not responsible for those utilities. We don't use the buildings that the utilities are attached to. The lease premises, if you look at the lease, it just says the athletic fields. It doesn't say the use of the bathrooms.
Do we still communicate with the district with certified mail? We should.
Yes.
Because
Seriously,
in the
Eric,
past, it's
because
like, we
they
didn't
have
bring it up,
said,
this, we didn't get it.
yeah, they have
And that was,
flatly denied
False.
receiving
That was
things
false.
from us in the
Hey,
past.
I can send it to the solicitor certified and regular.
Yeah.
That water line was right into the fire department. That's on its own.
That's on, yeah, we
Yeah.
pay that bill every month, and then we have
Okay.
2 electric meters.
We have our own water, we don't need their water.
Yeah, we have our own water supply, our own electric, that
Because
we
even
pay
without
monthly.
use, it's $9 a month just for the privilege of having a water line, so you need to have nothing to do with that building.
Where they'll handle that.
Yes.
Do we need a motion or anything?
I don't think so. Eric, you can-
We actually make one.
It's a decision made by the council, we should have a motion to authorize letters to be sent to the dispatch.
I make that motion.
second,
Give them a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Amanda, did they do anything about the tree yet?
Yes, it's down.
Good.
Would you read the motion that was just made? I want to just, I mean, I voted yes for it, but I want to hear what the motion was.
The motion was to notify the school district solicitor that Southmont Borough is not going to pay the utilities associated with the property, specifically the bathrooms and
I also put in whether we don't use them or nor do we have a key for them or any utilities on our names.
Next item is the discussion of adding the tickler list to the agenda. Amanda, do you want to take this?
So yeah, we have a request to add the tickler list to the agenda, but if you look in your packets, Sam's report has upcoming items, my report has upcoming items.
Yeah.
We can switch that to call it a tickler list if you want, but.
But I'd say if it's all in one place, it's going to be more handy. You're not going to look through a bunch of reports. If we list everything, and it worked in the past, and it will work in the future, and it doesn't take any more effort. And, Amanda is over, she's swamped with work. I think it's better to have 10 people looking at these, and then they can suggest, well, what about this, what about that? It's just like this here. This is a ticker list, so to speak, and we had time to discuss it. I think we need it on there. It was on before, it was on the past, in the past, when Sherry was, well, even Bob was on. We had the tickler list, and we used it very heavily. It kept the council people informed. You didn't have to commit to memory, what about this, what about that? You looked on the list, oh, yeah, what about that sword, this? And it stays on the tickler list until it's resolved. Then you put something else on. I'd like to make a motion, we include the tickler list on the agendas.
I don't think an agenda is the appropriate.
Well, wherever she had it, wherever she had it. Used to be on the bottom of the agenda, didn't it?
No, they are in the packet, they're in the reports.
Yeah, but would you rather read it in one space? Or would you rather go through 5 or 6 different reports to get the particular established? I'm saying establish it, publish it one place. Then when you get your agenda, you can go right down there and say, hey, what about this, what about this? So I made a motion, we included it in the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Nobody got a second, a good thing like that. I don't understand.
Alright, so with a lack of a second, the motion failed. Amanda, would you be willing to just take those items that you're putting at the bottom of on the bottom of your reports and just put them on? All right, this is 10, 15, 10, Luzerne Street. What are we looking at here?
So that property is up in the triangle across from Clark's. The non-compliance fee from the water authority, because they haven't provided a pressure test, they weren't required under us to do that. They weren't noted as contributing excess flow. But they connect to the Southmont line that eventually runs to Westmont. And Westmont, I guess at a board meeting, had said that they will not forgive that non-compliance fee, because they do run to their line. We do have an agreement with Water Authority for several properties across the street that tie directly to a Westmont line, but I think these were just overlooked because they didn't tie directly in. The remaining properties in that area have either had the work done or have just provided the pressure test to not have that fee.
Yeah, the agreement between Southmont Borough and the Greater Johnstown Water Authority, there were 7 Southmont Borough properties that are tied directly into the Westmont, which was acquired by the Johnstown Water Authority's sewer line. And then there are 30 properties in Westmont Borough that are tied to the Southmont system. So that agreement addressed those, so there wasn't a double billing from each entity. So those are addressed. This happens to be a situation that's not addressed by that agreement, where it's initially a Southmont Borough line and then it turns into a Westmont.
Did we pay for their lateral?
Yes.
And that went down to the main, which feeds into Westmont.
Right.
So, if their property feeds into the Southmont Borough line, and the Southmont Borough line connects to the Westmont line, then, like, I'm confused, because we have Upper Yoder Township lines that connect to Southmont lines, and we're not telling Upper Yoder that their properties have to all pass pressure
That's
tests.
exactly right.
So, in my opinion, they shouldn't be getting this because
good for the goose is good for the gander. If you're gonna do it one place, do it all. If you're not gonna do it everywhere, don't do it. I'd say, I agree with Doug 100%. There's no reason we shouldn't pay it.
Well, probably necessary to provide that agreement that address that specific situation. It's not addressed in that agreement. It doesn't talk about a situation where it's connected to the Southmont system and then feeds the Greater Johnstown system. So that's why they're subject to those two. We don't require pressure test, but they do because it's on that line. So I can reach out to the Greater Johnstown Water Authority and see if we can revise the agreement to deal with those specific properties. Maybe this is the only one that's really.
Yeah, this is the only one.
Everybody else is taking, they resolve a problem. This one's the one that's not.
Yeah, that's the best way. I
mean, it just doesn't, it would be different, like, the reason that those are listed specifically is because they tie, their Southmont residents have tied directly into the Westmont line.
Right.
Whereas this property ties into a Southmont line. And that Southmont line runs to.
I think Westmont didn't even know that line existed until Southmont tapped into it. I guess it goes down through the Stack House Park.
I'm not sure what that line is.
The Westmont line is, yeah, at the top of the Stack House.
So, what is going to be our decision? Table.
I'll reach out to the Greater Johnstown Water Authority. See how they would like us to address the issue. I understand council's position in terms of it is a Southmont line, it does feed into the Westmont line, that's really the Greater Johnstown Water Authority line. We want to avoid the duplicative in terms of billing, but also the need for a pressure test, whereas we don't require it because there wasn't a need for a pressure test for our purposes. They have their own requirements.
So do I have a motion to table?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Business items. Approve ratification of payroll 6/18/24 through 7/15/24.
Make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approve payment of bills 6/18 to 7/15/24.
Make that motion.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approve transfer 6/18 to 7/15/24.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approve treasurer's report for June of 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Approve tax collector's report June of 2024.
Receive.
That should say accept.
Accept.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. We have a request for an executive session for personnel matters. I have a motion.
I make a motion.
We have an executive session. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Are you adjourning out of the executive session?
Yeah, there will be no action after the executive session.
I think you're supposed to say that though, but I don't mean to call you out on your job, Doug. Thanks, guys.
Thanks everyone for coming.
See ya.
Hey, if you want to put that out on YouTube, I'm more than willing to come up and have a look-see at what you guys have going on. Or if you want to talk right now, we can do that. Or I don't know what you have going on. So
She says no.
okay,
We'll let you know. Wait for that meeting first.
hey, not a problem. I'm here every month. If you guys ever want to,
Okay.
I realize I'm a feather ruffler, but you know, somebody's got to do it, right? Somebody's got to call them out on their, on what they do. Hey, no problem, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming. I can tell you this, I do know some things about about alleys and stuff, okay? If you're taking care of something exclusively, that's either borough property or a paper alley, 21 years, if you can prove that you've taken care of it, it's yours.
I don't think we'll have 21.
Well, just so you know, I mean, like I had a driveway taken from me. You know, I mean that's why I come down.
With me, I just want to be told the truth.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do the alley, then don't do the alley.
Right.
But don't keep telling, you know, this is not our first go around.
Right. Of course.
And
of course.
This guy says that, she says that, he says that.
It's frustrating.
I just want. Or aren't we going to do the alley?
Right.
That's
right.
what I want to know.
Yep.
And then I don't need to listen.
Then you can proceed from there. Right. Exactly.
That's horseshit. Them people.
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Their asses are so tight, and that Herbie Wald. You know.
Take care, guys.
It's terrible what he's doing to you.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that, man. Thanks, man. Have a good day, bud. So there's that. That's what we, you know. I don't know. Let's go up and look. We're gonna drive up here, still live, so everybody can see what I'm talking about. We'll let my viewers decide here what they think. If you built something like this, and I'm going to go show you, would you need a building permit? I bet you would. I bet you if you did something like this, they would make you get a permit. Such language that I get called. Oh shit. Turn that down so we don't lose our, so we don't get stuffed for a copyright strike because the Dave Matthews from the Gorge that I have playing on my head unit here. So, yeah, I gotta admit, I don't like being the snitch, the tattletale, the person that runs to the, you know. I mean, if anything, the only reason I scrutinize what they do is because they scrutinize what I do or what I've done. You know, as far as I'm concerned, to everybody, every neighbor, the best thing you can do to be a good neighbor, if you don't like what your neighbor's doing, you don't like what you see, or whatever, you don't like their property, the best thing to do is just not look at it. Okay? You know? Your neighbors are under no obligation to be good neighbors or nice people. Okay? If, you know, and you know, I'm actually pretty friendly. People that know me know how friendly and helpful I am until you decide to do something to me. You know? Well, what I'm referring to here is this. Is that right there. Okay? That is new. Okay, that has been built in the past month or 6 weeks or so. Okay? And I can tell you for a fact, okay, there was no building permit. I did a right to know request, there was no building permit. Okay? And I do know for a fact that when this lady here, when she had these walls done, same thing, okay, when she had these walls done here, she had to have a building permit. So when my neighbor Carol here, when she had that building there placed in there, the metal building there, when she had that building placed, she got a building permit. Okay, you know, when my neighbors had stole my driveway from me, when they built and added onto their house, they got a building permit. Okay, anytime somebody has work done in this borough, normally they get a building permit unless you are a Southmont Borough Council member, I guess, and then they just don't bother, or they say that I didn't do my homework. Believe me, I did my homework, and what I will do next month for you, I will do this, I promise you. I will sit down and I will read every page, and I have before, actually. You know how I know? You know how I can tell you how I know that? Because it's 46 pages. Okay, it's 46 pages. I've read it. I've read all 46 pages of the International Building Code that you guys just did, like you said today. I voted yes, but I didn't hear what I voted yes for. What you voted yes for and didn't bother to understand what you were voting yes for. Okay, and now when the law is trying, when somebody calls you out on you not following the law to the T, the way you expect every one of your neighbors to do and every one of your constituents to do, you expect every one of us to follow the law to the letter. What do? You decide to just go ahead and build structures, permanent structures, okay? You know, when that's a retaining wall is what that is, okay? I mean, I don't know what you want to call it, but anytime, you know, something permanent is done like that, you need a building permit. Okay, so, you know, if I mean, I can do it this way. I could put up my own planner. I do have a planner, you know. People don't like my planner, though. You know? People don't like my planner. For some reason, I'll show you guys my planner here in a second. People don't like my planner. And one of those properties that Mr. Ewald was speaking of was my property. People that are blah 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 blah. It's been going on for so long. Been going on for a year. Been going on since 2020. Yeah. Okay. There's my planner. Oh, wait, really? That V-pillar is going to cover it? Oh, shit. Okay. There's my planter. That's my planner. That's my Delia planner. Boy, did that cause a huge stink when I first put it up. People were complaining and blah blah blah. Well, guess what? It's still there, but it's not permanent. Okay, I can move it. You know, it's all it is just some you know, just a plant stand. I mean, I can actually move that, but that thing there, that's a real you know, it's a real permanent structure, you know, and it'll come up on, you know, when they do the next tax map, that thing will be there. You know, there'll be a little box there on the view, but you know, he didn't get a building permit. But he's going to sit there and say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. No, it's not good. It's not good for the gander, because if you don't have to get a building permit, why do I? Why do the people down on Thoburn have to tear down their fence? You know? So I don't know. You know, that's the problem. Is we have borough council members who have no problem with breaking the law or violating the rules or not doing what they're supposed to do, and then in the same meeting they will go and they will tell you, they will say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay, well then listen, people. Okay, Councilmember Herb Ewald has work done without building permits. Okay, so if you don't want to get a building permit, don't get a building permit. Okay, you can reference this video. You can reference the minutes of the July Southmont Borough Council meeting. Okay. This video will be up on YouTube for everyone to see forever. So, you know, he doesn't get a building permit when work needs done. Okay, so listen, it's hot as hell. My air conditioner is not as good as it should be in my truck anymore. You know what we're gonna do actually? Just to get this for a little ride down to Thoburn. Down to the murder fence. We're gonna go look at the murder fence. Okay? this the murder fence. I call this the murder fence. Please tell me you appealed your fence. Okay, do you have 30 seconds? Can I talk to you for 30 seconds? I won't film you, but hold on a second. Okay, I'm gonna go talk to these people. My phone's gonna die. I'm gonna stop the live stream now. I might be back.